Domenico started with his own wife, Giuliana, in 1976 in Monforte d'Alba, focused about just 3 varieties: Dolcetto, Barbera and Nebbiolo, nothing else, so no compromises. So he started already with a pretty strong identity about what was the idea of a winemaker in Barolo for himself, especially not in Barolo but in Monforte d'Alba. After so many years trying to make not something that is just a wine, but the best wine in the world, that was the real fil rouge that moved his entire life, was not just create something of good, but something of special. Unfortunately, Domenico passed away in 2017, but we are still carrying his own dream to the next step we try to unless. It's a huge story talking about what was the movement. It was a movement, first of all. It's not just a boom or marketing. Think about the situation. We are talking about the 70s, and during the 70s, Barolo, Domenico used to tell me that is absolutely not as Barolo is it right now. Barolo was much poorer than right now. There was some families who was making wines, established, that was already making good wines and good Barolos. And then there was those bunch of young guys, 25 years old roughly, someone a little bit more, someone a little bit less, who used to have who 1 hectare, another 1 neighbor, the other 1 5 hectares from the father. So I was trying to make their own farm a winery, so changing a little bit. The first thing to talk about is about why people was not drinking so much Barolo. They suddenly understood that Barolo was famous in the area, famous in some places in the world, but not as famous as the wine they serve. They started to approach to the winemaking with new techniques. For example, talking about barrique, we are talking about green harvest, higher ripening. So a different approach in general, trying to make something of a little bit bigger and a little bit more smooth in tannins. But it's not about the winemaking, the real philosophy of the Barolo boys. It's the philosophy, it's the mentality. It's that don't assume that something that is done from your grandfather is better than what you are doing just because you want to hide it under the name of the tradition. Tradition is something something of good that you are able to do again because it's good, not because it's part of the tradition. You want to preserve it because it's good. And some of the things that come from your grandfather are great, and some other not. In the moment that you understand that, you try to evolve. You try to do something different. Sometimes you have to break some rules. That is the reason why it was called Revolution, and that is why we are no more using barrique. Actually, we are no more using so much barrique, but we are still consider ourselves modernists because we are not satisfied. We think that what we are doing right now, I'm 100% secure that what we are making right now will be different in 20 years. And that is still the modernism, still the Barolo boys spirit that is alive in our winery. Domenico told me that he and Giuliana, the wife, they used to do the green harvest in the moment that the father was in vacation with the church. Because for the community was considered a sin. In the community during the 70s, the most important person in the village was not the mayor, was the priest, because we are a Catholic country. And the church was much more important than all the rest in that moment. And if you are doing the green harvest, you are technically in a poor condition. For the priest, you were throwing away food. So you are a sinner. So they used to do the green harvest during the vacation of their own families. This talk a lot about that is not just a winemaking. That was a revolution because of that, because there was something in the other side. It was big, it used to be big. Right now, obviously, we can experiment, but we can experiment because they have done that before of us. And so they open the mind of the people, and right now we can do, I don't want to say what we want because if in a certain sense we are more traditional right now than we ever been. But it's normal, every good revolution finish in a state of peace. And we are in the peace right now, so everyone is merging to the same line, and everyone is thinking no more about the style and about to change, but it's mostly about the vineyard that you have. But in order right now to talk about the vineyard that you have and promote your own vineyard, it was necessary in that moment to change something, to make something different, and to prove to the world that Barolo was existing, and make some noise.